Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I am doing the makeup consumer tag or the beauty consumer tag. I don't know, I didn't screenshot the title of this video, only the question. But basically this was a tag created by 90s Lovechild here on YouTube. I just saw Abby Williamson do it when I was catching up on some YouTube this morning, and it just looks like a very fun tag that I would have a lot of things to say about. It's basically on like your beauty consumption habits, and I like talking about that kind of stuff, and I am going to make some changes to my beauty consumption in 2020 as part of my New Year's resolution, changing to like a low buy budget as opposed to low buy by number of products, things like that, blah 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 blah. Anyway, there's 13 questions, and also like, pardon my face, my makeup did not turn out as anticipated today, but you will get a get ready with me on this makeup if you're just really interested in how to do a very, very underwhelming glitter cut crease. It wasn't the product's fault at all, it's just that I kind of suck at that kind of stuff, so I'm working on it. I am just going to get into it. Also, I am at home at my parents' house, so I'm kind of playing around with like lighting and where I should be, and there's that, but we're just gonna deal with it because I don't feel like moving my setup, and the sun is getting ready to set because it's winter and daylight savings time. And anyway, question time. How much do you spend on makeup a month? A year? It depends on the month. Some months I don't spend anything on makeup because I just don't feel the need to, or that I would rather spend my money on other things. You know, like my birthday month in April or around Christmas time when everyone gets me like Sephora and Ulta gift cards, I will spend a lot more on that because of deals, things that I'm interested in. So it can kind of go anywhere from like 0 to 100 a month, depending on kind of what I have, what I need, what new beauty releases there are. As for the year question, I am only a beauty insider at Sephora. I haven't hit VIB in a couple of years, just because I haven't really felt the need to. I am platinum at Ulta, but I will also say that that also is due to the fact that I also get my hair done at Ulta, so that probably definitely contributes to it. I don't track my indie spending as much as I probably should, but that is generally where the majority of my like money goes into, is buying things from indie brands. So I don't quite know where that would be, but I do own a lot of eyeshadow palettes that are probably evidence of where all of that money goes. Question 2, do you ever feel guilty about how much you spend on makeup? Not in the sense that I think it's necessarily a bad thing, because I do think that like I don't buy things unnecessarily, and I do generally try and keep things within a budget. Like I don't buy things that I can't afford. Like if I don't have money to spend on makeup, guess what? I'm not gonna buy makeup. So I don't think it's necessarily that, but rather that I'm a person who really enjoys makeup, and kind of I don't really have a lot of close friends who enjoy makeup as much as I do, so they don't have the big collections like me. No one shames me for that. I have to shift my mindset because makeup is seen as this really frivolous thing, which it is. It's a hobby. But I also have to keep in mind that my friends have different hobbies than me. You know, like going to concerts or doing crafts, or, you know, things like that, that they would rather spend their money on, and probably spend as much money on doing those things as I would on makeup. I think kind of the main thing is that like I don't overspend. Like I said, I don't spend money that I don't have. So I know I probably shouldn't feel as much guilt as I do. But I think it's definitely the societal conditioning thing of like, when you don't have a lot of other people around you who enjoy the same hobby, you're gonna feel a lot differently about makeup and like your spending on that, if that makes sense. Do you get FOMO related to makeup releases? Not necessarily as much as I used to. I am trying to get more into the mindset of just because something's pretty doesn't mean that I necessarily need to own it, but there are still certain things like the Melt Muerte palette. I still have my eye on that. I still really want to get that, and I still plan on it. I'm just like waiting until after Christmas to buy it. I might be able to catch a sale, and I can enjoy some of the palettes I have more before getting that. And I would rather spend my money on other things, but I'm really scared that it's gonna sell out because it's already like not available on Sephora.com anymore, and I'm going to need to figure out a way. I mean, I don't need to figure out a way to get it because it's makeup. No one needs makeup. If it's something that I think is really, really special like that, then I do kind of get that sense of FOMO of like, what if I don't get it? Do you purchase or keep items simply because they are limited edition? I don't buy anything simply because it's limited edition, because in the year of our Lord 2019, we have been proven to over and over again that nothing is ever truly limited edition. So I don't actually need to care about that much. I kind of just buy what I like, and if something interests me and I feel like it would have a good place in my collection, then I get it. And I think that there's this weird thing on beauty YouTube where people will be promoting limited edition things when they first come out, like, oh my gosh, you need to get this, and then they never use it again. But the thing is, a whole bunch of us still went out and bought those limited edition things and are still gonna be, you know, looking for ways to use it and to get creative with it, like looking for different looks with that palette. But you won't be able to find anything new and interesting because nobody promotes that. And something I've been trying to do a lot more is kind of go back into, you know, my limited edition and discontinued products and really try and use them. Just because I know I love them just as much now as I did when I bought them. And there are items that I have kept in my collection simply because they're limited edition, even though I would like theoretically declutter it. So moment of nostalgia and shame for me, I have kept my Kat Von D Satan Center palette in my collection, even though I've decluttered everything else Kat Von D I own that I wasn't able to use up, or that I wasn't using as like my hand that palette for this year, and I don't use it. But I had a lot of good times with that palette when I first got it, and I think the packaging is beautiful, and I really appreciate the religious imagery as someone who works in a religious profession. And it is something that, even though I cannot ever buy anything from Kat Von D ever again because of her morals or lack thereof, I still hold that as a special place in my heart, and I know that because it's limited edition, I will never be able to find it ever again. It is my shame, but I do keep it. Would you be willing to pay more money for a sold out product online? Nope. Like, if I wasn't willing to pay the money to get the product before it sells out, I'm not gonna be willing to pay even more to get it after it sells out. Like, I don't have any shame about anyone who does. Like, you know, if you're into that, do you, but I'm not interested. Do you wish you could spend more or less money on makeup? There are some days when I do wish I could spend a bit more on makeup. Part of that is that I just generally wish I had more money and I wasn't working multiple part-time jobs in order to kind of like sustain myself in this weird grad school life that I live. But the other thing is, like, you know, a lot of the things that I want, like the Muerte palette, things like that, I am kind of saving up for rather than buying immediately, which, you know what, I actually do think is a good thing and like a good practice, because it does mean that I have to think about my purchases a whole lot, and that gives me a greater appreciation for the things that I have when I do get them, because I don't just like buy makeup without thinking about it anymore. When it's gonna be like a palette or something that costs a lot of money, I really do think about it as an investment, and if it'll bring in something to my collection that would be worth me saving up that money for something like that. So perhaps it's a good thing. You know, there are some times when like things drop out of nowhere that I know that I think would be really good for me, or like that I would really enjoy, that I don't drop money on immediately, because like I said, for the bigger makeup investments in my life, I do save up for that kind of thing. It's a mixed bag of a question. Like, I'm very happy with the collection that I have and with the amount of makeup that I buy. So maybe it's just a whole thing about like, I would really love to be financially stable right now. We'll just go with that. Do you feel compelled to buy something when you see it in someone else's collection? I don't feel necessarily compelled to buy things because other people own it. But I do look to my friends who have similar like tastes and skills in makeup as I do to kind of gauge whether or not I should actually buy something. So like some of like the Menagerie palettes, I always kind of wait for Beaute Bean and Annette to do their reviews on them, because I know that they have similar tastes in eyeshadow to me, similar styles, and I always want to see how they perform with them first. So I don't necessarily automatically see something that someone has and be like, ooh, I want that, I'm gonna go spend my money on that. But rather, if I've been thinking about something for a while and someone I know and share that taste with recommends it, then I'm more inclined to buy it. It might be like that one good review that pushes me into like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll get this, you know. Do you buy more during the holidays? In the sense that most people in my life know that I like makeup and will get me Ulta and Sephora gift cards for Christmas, yes. And that I do in part of my trying to be a good steward of my money, I do try and wait for sales to buy things that I'm interested in. Not that I wouldn't buy those things on sale, but it's more lucrative to buy things when they're on sale. So I do take advantage of that. So I guess the answer would be yes, but I think I just kind of spend more on things in general during the holidays, because the other thing is, like, I'm not buying any makeup before Christmas because I would rather be spending that money on gifts for the people I love. There's also that, like, I think the holidays are just a spendy time for people. Have you ever hidden a makeup purchase from family or friends? I don't think I have, just because I don't really hang around people who would judge me for the makeup that I buy. I have had people in my life who I felt like, you know, I couldn't talk as much about this kind of stuff in general, or that they would think that my affinity for makeup is a bit ridiculous, so I couldn't talk about that in general. But then again, those are also people who I decided that if you're gonna be that judgmental, we do not need to continue our relationship. And yeah, there are always gonna be people who judge me for that. And I think there are people who judge makeup people in general for that, but those are not the kind of people I hang around, and everyone in my life is really supportive. Do you have more than 10 products in your collection that you have not used in over a month? I am very sure. I don't have all my makeup with me because I didn't bring it all, because that's a heck of a collection. But I think by definition of me doing that, there are definitely products in my collection, and at least 10 of them that I haven't used in over a month. 2020 is gonna be my year of trying to shop my stash a bit more and really enjoy what I have. Have you ever been pressured to purchase something you could not afford or did not need? I don't think I've necessarily been pressured, because no one has ever held a knife to my throat and been like, you should buy this palette. That's not a situation that I've ever found myself in. And the people who I'm friends with online too, I think we're all kind of in that anti-consumerist mindset of like, buy things if you like it and you think you'll use it, but like, don't buy makeup that you don't need. So I don't think I've ever felt pressured. I think in my early stages of doing YouTube, there was that whole idea of like, you need a naked palette, you need the chocolate bar palette, you need this, you need that in order to be a good beauty guru. I did have the chocolate bar palette for a while. I have a couple naked palettes that I don't know if I was necessarily feeling pressured into them, because I did only buy the ones that I was interested in, but I guess that could kind of be like a form of pressuring. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but here we are. Do you purchase makeup for collector reasons? I kind of used to, before Kat Von D, you know, happened. I used to buy a lot of her makeup because I kind of wanted to complete my collection of her stuff, because I really did enjoy it. I don't buy things for collector's reasons anymore. There are certain things that I kind of feel like, oh, I would actually love to collect all of those, but that's because all of them have like good color stories and I like the formula. So like Menagerie palettes, I really like the Menagerie shadow formula, and I would really love to collect all of the palettes, not because I feel like I need to complete anything, but because they are all color stories that I really like, and I think I would get a lot of good use out of all of them. So I don't feel like that's necessarily a thing about like doing that for collecting purposes though, because if they came out with a palette with a color story that I didn't like, I'm not particularly pressed about buying it. So I hope that makes sense. And finally, in your makeup journey, have you become more or less consumeristic? I've definitely become a lot less consumerist. I don't know, I just feel like it's also a part of me growing up, because I started my channel when I was like 19, and I think when you're that age, oh, that sunlight is happening. But I think when you're that age, it is very easy to kind of buy into the consumerist mindset of like, oh, every other beauty guru has this, so I should get this too. I need to buy this, I need to buy that. It's very easy to succumb to that kind of peer pressure. While I've never been someone who particularly follows the crowd when you're trying to start up a channel, when you're trying to make it big, because that was kind of like my original dream, was like, I'm gonna become a big beauty guru, and now like, I just like making videos, you know? I mean, I've always enjoyed making videos, but now I'm really just in the I just enjoy this mindset. So it can kind of feel like, oh, I need to have all of these fancy things in order to make it big, in order to become one of the cool kids. I admire different YouTubers now, and I go for different people's recommendations, and I view different people as cool kids of YouTube. I don't feel the need that I used to buy certain products. I just don't feel like it's necessary. I've kind of just gotten into a space of like, I'm going to buy what I like. Just because something's pretty doesn't mean I need to own it. I can look at a picture of something that's pretty that I'll never use rather than making a gigantic investment on it and have it sit on my vanity. That is kind of my mindset now, and I'm really appreciating kind of all the people that have influenced me to really make that growth. So that way I can feel less pressure and I can just kind of say, I'm gonna buy what I like and not really care that much otherwise. So to answer your question, I've become less consumeristic. So anyway, if you want to do this video, please go ahead and do it. I'm sure probably everyone in the world has by the time this gets posted, but whatever. I want to see everyone's answers. Shout out to 90s Lovechild for creating this tag because I think it was super cool and super fun to do. And anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me. And I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye!